We're back at the office after riding the new 2025 KTM 390 SMCR at the press launch in Murrieta, California. We got to ride the bike both on a go-kart track and out on some twisty pavement. Does a $5,500 Supermoto still pack the punch that KTM promises? And this is just one of 4 new bikes to enter the market based off of the 390 Duke platform. You have the 390 Enduro R, the 390 Adventure R, the 390 Adventure X, and now the 390 SMCR. All bikes deliver performance and value, just this one is in a Supermoto package. The 390 SMCR utilizes KTM's LC4C engine. It's the same engine in the Adventure R, Adventure X, and the Enduro R. It's a 399cc liquid-cooled single. KTM claims this thing makes 44 horsepower at 8,500 RPM and 28.8 pound-feet of torque at 7,000 RPM. It's got a 6-speed transmission with a slipper assist clutch and a ride-by-wire throttle system that gives access to an adjustable electronics package. The engine is super quick revving. It's got a super punchy hit straight off the mid-range and pulls super hard all the way to redline. We rode this engine up at Mammoth Lakes, California on the Adventure R and the Enduro R. Was a little bit disappointed with the bottom end performance, but that was at 10,000 feet of elevation. So riding the Supermoto at near sea level, definitely noticed a lot more bottom end response out of this LC4C engine. But again, this is really a mid to top end engine. It works best when it's just screaming up towards the rev limiter. And it's probably the best application in a Supermoto package because around the kart track, just connecting corners and running it up to the rev limiter before getting on the brakes for the next corner, tight kart track setup, it just works great. The quick shifter is an aftermarket accessory. I believe it's $274. I would definitely fork up the cash for that accessory. So the 390 SMCR has 2 adjustable ride modes, you have Street and Sport. Both come with dedicated traction control and ABS settings, but you can adjust both traction control and ABS in each setting, so you can kind of tailor them to your preferences. Another thing that's nice about this bike is when you cycle the key, your rider aids, if you turned them off, they stay disabled, which is a really cool function. And you can adjust ride modes, traction control, all that kind of stuff on the fly. I just went from street mode with traction control turned on to sport mode with traction control turned off, all without having to stop. You just gotta let the throttle close. So pretty neat. It comes with a 4.2-inch TFT display. This is the same display on the Enduro R, and it's really nice. I mean, it's like this rectangular, small, very sleek TFT display, but it gives you all the information you need and just it fits well on a Supermoto or dual sport setup. So sport mode obviously is a more aggressive throttle response, less intervention with the traction control. That's the mode we prefer. Very sharp throttle response right off the bottom. It's very direct, but street mode isn't very diluted. It's not as punchy off bottom, but again, once you get into the mid-range, which is where this engine likes to be, it pulls strong all the way to redline. Traction control and ABS settings, we had traction control off most of the day. Admittedly, on a bike like this with good Michelin Power 6 tires, didn't really get any intervention from the traction control except when trying to pop a wheelie and drop in the clutch. The Supermoto has a Supermoto ABS setting that disables rear ABS and makes the front ABS a lot less intrusive, and that's the way to go on this bike, especially on a go-kart track. You could back it in, cut slides coming into the corners, you could do no stoppies, and you just have really good braking performance with very minimal intervention from the front end. And some other additional features include a USB-C charging port as standard. You have smartphone connectivity through the KTM Connect app. That gives access to music, turn-by-turn navigation, and you can take incoming calls. The 390 SMCR utilizes the same steel trellis frame as the latest 390 Duke, but it does have a different steering head angle, different triple clamps, different subframe mounts, and just a little bit different rigidity profile for Supermoto riding. Suspension components are WP. It's a 43mm Apex open cartridge fork with 30 clicks of compression and rebound adjustment. At the back is a WP Apex linkless shock with 20 clicks of rebound adjustment and preload adjustment. Both ends offer just over 9 inches of suspension travel. Having ridden this chassis before in the Enduro R, Adventure R, and the 390 Duke, which is a former 10 best winner, I kind of knew what to expect. This bike has very quick steering, it's very agile, but it still has really good stability. It's a little bit heavier than maybe something like a DRZ 4SM, but I feel like at times it actually makes it have more mid-corner stability. It's budget suspension, it's an open cartridge fork, so some of the mid-corner damping control doesn't feel super refined, but overall the suspension components offer a lot of hold-up. You know, they're on the stiffer side, so getting hard on the front brake, the fork doesn't have too much fork dive. Hard on the gas, the shock doesn't become overloaded on corner exit, and they're adjustable, so I was actually able to soften the bike up for my lighter weight on the Supermoto track. Had really good performance both from the chassis and the suspension. It's a sporty package and you can push it. The biggest difference between the 390 SMCR and the 390 Enduro R is the wheels, tires, and brakes. So the 390 SMCR utilizes a 17-inch lace-spoked wheel front and back with Michelin Power 6 rubber. This is the same rubber that they put on the 390 Duke and the Husqvarna Vitplin 401. These are premium tires on an entry-level motorcycle. That's something I've always appreciated out of the KTM group, is that even on your budget-friendly motorcycles, you still get quality rubber. And the braking package, that's something that's always different between a Supermoto and a dirt bike or dual sport. They both use the same 240mm rear disc and single piston bi-brake caliper, but what separates the Supermoto from something like the Enduro R is the front braking setup. You have a larger 320mm disc up front with a dual piston bi-brake caliper. This is actually the same unit pulled off of the Adventure R, and riding the Enduro R and Adventure R back to back, I noticed how much better the performance is from the Adventure R's braking setup. They pulled that over to the 390 SMCR, and it's just a really good braking package. Super strong bike, good modulation, just what you'd want out of a Supermoto, whether you're on the track or on a twisty canyon road. KTM's 390 SMCR has a 33.9-inch seat height, 355-pound curb weight. It's got a 2.4 gallon fuel capacity, and it's got the same width handlebar as the Enduro R, but with a lower bend and a shorter 42mm riser. Riding KTM's 390 SMCR around the go-kart track was a great test of the bike's outright performance, but in reality, this bike is going to spend most of its time riding through the city or down the highway, and it's great for that. The engine is fun, manageable, but capable of running highway speeds. The chassis is sharp, the ergonomics are comfortable, and it's a great package for going to your go-kart track or ripping up a local twisty road. It's got adjustable electronics and adjustable suspension, which are two features you just don't really find on a bike at this price point. KTM's 390 SMCR offers a lot for $5,500 and delivers on what their marketing promises. A bike for riders who see every empty parking lot as a playground. That's going to wrap up this review of the 2025 KTM 390 SMCR. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, comment, subscribe, and thanks for watching.